Hello, good afternoon. It's a new week. We've got a new presenter.
Hello, everybody.
Baz is back. His spirit is not, but his body is. His spirit is still somewhere over the Atlantic, desperately trying to go back to Florida.
Yeah. Good. It's all good.
How was he?
It was good. It was good to see we didn't win every game because I think I might have to stay. If we'd have beat Luton, I was thinking I may have to live here. No, it was good. It was good, mate. It was great to come back and be relaxed about Everton Football Club. Well, about results.
About the on-field stuff.
Results-wise, about Everton Football Club. It was good. Hot. Nice. And Everton won games of football. That's just the perfect combination. Isn't it?
Did you find yourself like checking your phone when you were queuing up for rides, or were you just like, nah, leave it?
While games?
Yeah.
No, obviously Zach had bits, so I was watching bits and pieces of it.
Zach, if you are watching, there are people available to listen to you if you need help and support.
I hope he's not watching in school.
I was in school.
So I hope he isn't watching because something's gone.
Yeah.
You know, awry.
It was mentioned many a time on the channel during the 2 and a bit weeks that Esther Ranson might need phoning.
Over which?
Over the fact that this poor child had missed out on a Merseyside derby.
Yeah. Well, that, to be fair, that
was a big gap then after you said to be fair.
Yeah, I know, but obviously the derby, I would have liked them to. But the way I look at it, the case is broken very much. Garner's going. The case is broken. That will be the first of
actually on that night. His soul did exit his body on that night, like 100%, 100%. So
there you go. I've seen the clips of your mate, the artist dude who does Liverpool stuff, saying it. Why is he laughing? Why is he laughing? When Calvert-Lewin scored. So maybe his soul did leave its body that night, but the case was gone that night.
Yeah,
exercised.
Yeah, 100%.
Hopefully,
back to reality.
Yeah.
Everton Shareholders Association have just put out a statement in the last 10 minutes regarding the ownership of the club. It says, we are the oldest shareholder association in the world and we are dismayed by the lack of respect being shown to our football club by the largest shareholder, Farhad Moshiri, and the Premier League during what seems to a never-ending change of ownership process. We have observed with concern and frustration as it became increasingly clear that a fit-for-purpose process cannot possibly take this long as the Premier League continues to demonstrate their inability to regulate. In the absence of the Premier League making a timely decision, we insist that the Everton board and Farhad Moshiri in particular stop this damaging process now and recognise that 777 partners are not, at this time, fit and proper prospective owner of Everton Football Club. The powers that be are being disrespectful to our fellow shareholders, our fantastic worldwide fan base and football as a whole by continuing to allow this farce to continue. We demand a decision and we demand it now. So strong words from the Everton Shareholders Association, which we know obviously John Blaine is one of them, and I'm sure he's had his input on that. Over the last 2 or 3 days, maybe a bit longer, this has, I think, now run its course. I think the stuff that has happened in the last 3 days regarding 777 and some more stories, whether you choose to believe it, whether you don't believe it, whether you think, well, that's for a court case, I think what that statement has nailed on there is that this just can't go on. We're getting to a period now where we're looking at the summer and we're obviously going to be without play. We're going to lose players. We don't know what our finances are, and something has to give, because at the moment it feels very much like a Mexican standoff. It feels like Farhad Moshiri can't do anything in his trap because he needs this deal. 777 need this deal more than anybody, so we're their big shiny thing at top of their pyramid, and you know, you've got those two there, and then you've got the Premier League who are like, do you want us to do about it? You know, we're not doing nothing about it. And the best case scenario they might be looking at is, well, these have been pumping money into Everton for all season, so why would we step in? It's up to you to sort it out. So something has to give soon. Otherwise, I mean, what happens if they're not giving the go ahead? They can't continue to pump money into us, because a lot of it doesn't actually seem to be their money by the sounds of some of these things that have been coming out in the last 2 or 3 days. And someone or something needs to happen to sort this process out. And I don't think it's going to be the Premier League saying, yeah, mate, go ahead, because it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else.
Sorry to lay this on you so early.
Yeah, I mean, can we just go back 4 minutes? Yeah, I don't really know what to add to that, because it seems that Farhad Moshiri isn't going to pull the plug on it. Because he, for whatever reason, is he guaranteed money, or I don't know. Is he just happy it's not him having to fund Everton at the moment? I don't know. 777, are they really going to walk away when it feels as though they may need Everton to keep, I don't know. And so, yeah, you're very much in a place where there's three directions, and no one wants to budge in each one. And the Premier League, given that they need to ratify stuff for new ownership to take over, you would hope it would come from them, because Moshiri might be there going, I've got a sale lined up and it's good for me, so why would I? Why should I go back on it? Doesn't, he will feel he doesn't know Everton anything. Obviously, us as a fan base will feel totally different. So I don't know. I just don't see 777 stepping away, because surely they would have done by now anyway, and just said, right, you owe us X amount, whatever it is, 200 million now, isn't it? They clearly want the thing to go through. I don't know how much of these stories about them are true, not true, whatever, but there's a lot. So there will be truth, I imagine, there, wherever it lies on the barometer, there'll be a truth to it, won't there? A truth element. So I think all they can do is cite a pile of pressure on Moshiri to see if he budges in any way. But he's not budged so far, has he? It's been going on since September, this. Well, but the reality is this has been going on. He openly admitted in January 23, wasn't it, that he wanted investment in the club to help him fund the stadium and all that. So you're talking 18 months now, and he's not been able to get a satisfactory conclusion to that. So it is a very, very depressing situation we find ourselves in, because you've got to look now and think, well, okay, what happens in the summer? Everton need players to compete, because players, even if someone said, yeah, we'll keep the club afloat, Everton's still at risk at losing. I'm sure it's 7 players out the squad this summer. And this squad's already thin, and you've heard the manager talking about how thin it is. So you're talking about, regardless, Everton needing 10, 11 signings this summer. Okay, you might be able to get a handful of them on frees and stuff. It's not exactly very motivating. If someone got hold of it and just done it correctly, I know there'll be sales, of course there will. So that can fund things, but you need a direction straight away, don't you? That's the biggest thing. You need a direction of, you need to know where you're all going. Right now, Everton are just treading water. Yeah. And there is there's blood in the water. Yeah. And that's the problem. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think pressure needs to be applied. I mean, this is good that the Shareholders Association have put it out today, and I wonder whether the FAB will maybe put something out as well, and then maybe the Fans Forum will put something out. And then because ultimately we're safe now. We've been prioritising the football this season, which is rightly so, because that's what we needed to do. But now that's all sorted, and I wonder whether there will be some kind of movement now, because something has to give. I mean,
you can. It doesn't matter what side you come down on. Something has to give, doesn't it? Because there is a lot of, with 777, there's a lot of noise, but there's clearly also, the thing with the suit that's been put in front of them now. Stuff like that, calling them a Ponzi scheme and things like that. That's very damaging, isn't it, for a brand and brands who are associated with their brands, and we are obviously associated with them now because they're funding us and are obviously trying to take us over. But something has to give. Just someone has to make a decision. This just can't drag on. What if the Premier League just continues to say, prove it to us, and they can't prove it to us? Who pulls the plug? I don't think 777 are going to pull the plug. They're in 200 million with us, and that's 200 million quid. They're not likely to get back at any point, by the way. And this is the idea that they're going to suddenly get this money back. They're not going to get that money back unless they convert it into, lest they convert it, and then if any sale goes through, they're part of the sale. Part of the ownership of Everton. So, and that muddies the water even more for someone who comes in and wants to buy the club. That they're buying shares, they've got to buy the whole thing, and it's a mess. But also, they have kept the lights on during the season, so you can't just go, well, these are. You have to understand that they have kept the lights on, kept us going, kept the stadium build going and all that. So that's why I think the pressure has to be on Farhad Moshiri, doesn't it? All the pressure has to be on Farhad Moshiri, because he's gonna have to lose a chunk of change here. He really is. He's the one who the most pressure should be applied to. 777, people like them will come and go, I think. For any club like Everton, where you said before, you smell the blood in the water. The blood's been in the water for a very long time, and 777 were one of the sharks. So pressure has to be put on Farhad Moshiri, and it has to come from people associated with the football club. I don't know how much good that'll do, but what we saw last year is when pressure was put on him is that he ended up sacking. We're getting rid, not sacking because they all got nice payoffs, but the board that were there. So, but then that was a case of like him getting rid of those people and going, right, I'll start again. This time it would be him saying, I'm gonna get rid of these people who want to buy the club. The other side of it is, if there are people out there who do want to buy the football club, this is the time to come forward, because not wait until the club is actually on death's door. Because that's not a good place to start, is it? That's not a good place to win trust with the fan base either. Because if a fan base believes that you've come in just at the last minute and you've, took us all the way down to the line of administration, and, us as a fan base are going to feel, how's that going to feel again, getting dragged through to that point? It's bad enough what we see on the pitch, never mind what we'd have to see going going that way with administration. So it's on Farhad Moshiri now. And everyone's watching. Everybody's watching now. Everyone wants to see a club like Everton go, or nearly go, or see what happens. All the I told you so's and all these people, all the financial experts and all that, they all want a pound of flesh now. They all want to see it in real life. They all want to see it on 24-hour news. They want to see the effects of what administration would do to the Premier League club. Someone has to stop that happening. And if there are people out there, and I know these people out there will be like, let's just wait till the last minute because we'll get it for buttons. But
is there people out there though?
No, I'm talking about like the people who are already there, the people who've got money involved in it, MSP, people like that. They've got money in the club.
Do you think they come back though?
Yeah, but they've got money in the club, haven't they? That's what I'm saying. They've got to protect that as well, because if that goes into administration, they lose all that money. So they've got to make a decision, haven't they? Whether they are people who actually want to buy the football club or just people who want a chunk of something right now. If someone says administration, they lose all that money. Yeah, that's gone. That's all gone. I went, Tenag, oh, God, you can't defend. No, they're going to lose a lot of money. Anyone. That's why I think John explained that last week. He was like, anyone who's got any kind of big investments in the club at the moment, they're not going to call for administration. The people who are going to call for administration are like the tax man. Someone who's like it's a little thing. All these people have got huge amounts vested in the club. They're not going to ask for administration.
It's their problem, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not going to get it.
I mean,
they're going to get like £1, 10
from an
pence.
Everton perspective, as an entity, the club can go into administration, come out the other side, and carry on in a different.
Well, we
place.
know there's people who actively want it.
Exactly. But so for the people who've put the money in, it's a bigger problem for them than it is for Everton Football Club. So yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. If someone like MSP's out there and they've got money invested, obviously they've got money invested, and there's a couple of Evertonians involved in that, maybe more.
Yeah,
they need to. I don't know. Not a business person, and the one who is sitting in a pool.
I hope. Oh yeah, he could be. Yeah.
No, he is. He just sends us a picture. Literally sitting in the pool, saying, "What's Ned doing wrong?" What, like someone like that? If they've got to make it, surely for their money that they've lent us, they've got to make a decision, haven't they? Even 777 themselves are like, they're 200 million in. They've got to maybe make a decision at some point and say, that money we're letting you, we're going to have to turn it into equity. But the problem with that is that equity is no good if the club goes into administration anyway. So it doesn't really mean. So that's what I'm saying about them. It's like they've got 200 million in, which is a loan at the moment. If we go into administration, it's worth nothing. If they turn it to equity and go into administration, it's worth nothing. That's the problem. That's their problem. MSP are in the same boat. We owe them money. If we go into administration, it's worth nothing. Yeah, so one of those people has got to make a decision. MSP, maybe, we've heard it before, saying one of our creditors can take over the football club. They can take over. Again, I don't know the ins and outs in that. But someone's going to have to make a decision soon, because we're coming to that area, and again, it'd be good if we had Johnny here, but we're coming to an area where, coming to like 2 months where the club doesn't make any money. Match day stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any. It goes for a couple of months. So you're then saying, well, we don't even have that match day stuff or anything to fall back on. It's all. And also at the same time, you're going into that period where you've got to buy footballers. The thing that you need to play football. You remember that people who said we shouldn't buy players. The people you actually need. Whilst, as you just said there, Andre Gomez going out the door. Potential of Seamus Coleman going out the door, the potential of Ashley Young going out the door, the potential of Adisagana Gay going out the door. Well, we know Dan Juma's going back, Jack Harrison going back. Straight away, you've got those.
Lonergan, big Lonners.
Well, listen, can't forget Lonners. You've got straight away. You've got players there who are gone. You've got to make a decision on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's got a year left on his contract. You've got to make a decision on him. Whether you have offered them another one or not, who knows? But these decisions have to be made at the same time as all this going on. So a decision, there's no point to us sitting here being worried about it, as in like sitting here every day worrying about it. No, someone has to just make a decision, and that has to be quite quick, because we are getting to a position now where every day there's more and more stories, and these, aren't obviously satisfying the things that they were asked to do, which was the 4 things. It's obviously been going on since September. September, yeah.
Started, yeah.
It's been going on since September.
8 months.
Yeah. So
Premier League should have made a decision.
Yeah. Well, they've passed the book, haven't they?
Should they?
They shouldn't, but it's consistent what they've always done. Though it's a case of once you're through the door, they once you've satisfied that initial whatever, that box ticking exercise, then the Premier League just go, "We're sound, mate. We're sound. You crack on." It's what they did. It's what they did with Newcastle. They just, once they got through the door, it was like, not our problem now, lads. It's up to you to sort out. You want to pull away, you pull away. That's the problem. It's on Farhad Moshiri, but surely he must be looking at it going, I've got this thing that is getting worth less and less and less every single day. I don't know how protracted it is in terms of like the stadium. Maybe he sits there going, well, actually it's not, because the closer we get to that stadium opening, the more I've got this asset. But if you're depreciating the team on the pitch, the thing that actually keeps you in the Premier League.
And the club.
Yeah. But what I mean is that if that team isn't going to be strong enough to stay in the Premier League, by the time that is open, you're not going to be in the Premier League, and the Premier League have and always have paid Everton's bills, the TV money. So something's going to have to give, and someone's going to have to come out and speak to the fan base and make some kind of statements. And again, it'll be all on Sean Dyche, I imagine, on Thursday, when questions will be asked. And I don't know how long Sean Dyche can keep up that, not pretense, I wouldn't say it was pretense, but why should he keep us?
Why should he have to front it?
He shouldn't have to front it, but that's what I'm saying. How long is he going to go? Is he going to keep that sort of... Because the question will go from being about someone buying the club to how it affects him, which is buying players, making the team stronger. That's the problem, isn't it? So something has to give soon. Otherwise, we're going to have another... whatever happens, we're going to have another summer of...
But there's got to be a different approach this summer anyway. Even if by some magic 777 passed today and said, look, we have got money, whatever, right? Some fairy tale story, whatever. There has to be a different approach anyway this summer from Everton Football Club in terms of who they go and buy, in terms of how we do things, whether we like it or not. The Jarrad Branthwaite, Amadou Onana kind of plan has to be. That's how we have to move forward, really, isn't it? In the short term. I'm not advocating, obviously, selling both of those. I'm just saying buying them. I mean, Branthwaite's the far better example than Onana. We overspent on Onana. I still think we make money.
And sadly, Forrest getting rejected today. One of the things that obviously got rejected was the Brendan Johnson argument, which is, I don't think it's particularly good for footballer, because the idea that you have to wait till you have to sell a play before this stupid cut-off line isn't good for football. It's not good for us, certainly.
It's good for the buyers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good for us. It's not good if you've got this back line where everyone knows, well, if we put a bid in, like Richarlison, that's not good for football. And sadly, that got rubber stamped today, because that's one of the things Forrest lost on. So that's not good.
So we've got to have a different approach, and that different approach can still be achieved this summer, again, by selling and reinvesting, but it's got to be reinvested in the right way, and it's got to be reinvested in young players with potential, and don't overspend. Don't just look and have a look at, always played in the Premier League, we'll get them. You can't go like that. You've got to balance it, haven't you? But so Onana should be the one. As much as I like Onana, I think he's got huge potential. He should be the one. Everton sacrificed this. Everton shouldn't be looking to get rid of Branthwaite this summer.
No.
Again, our hands might be tied at some stage. They may not. But certainly another year for Branthwaite at Everton Football Club. I think if you're him as well, realistically, he should be thinking, you know what, do another year, then I'll have he's 21, isn't he?
Well, when Manchester United are supposed to be the biggest people calling, and they mightn't even be in Europe next season, and they're a mess. But I mean, me and Jack talked about it on the final word, and Everton have got to find whatever way they can find to keep him, because not just a case of, like, as you say, it's not people go, you've got to. It's the fact it is that line, which is a joke, because you have got an asset there that everyone will know if they can get him before, I don't know, the 30th of June, that will be worth maybe 20-30 million less than if he goes the Euros and he comes back from the Euros, or if he plays another year in the Premier League and actually get that. Because our friend Stephen Houseman was making a bit of mischief making last week about Branthwaite. He's not as good as what everyone thinks he is and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes you do need that second year to confirm to everyone. It's not just a flash in the pan. So obviously, if you have that second year, everyone goes, oh my God, he is the real deal. Ching, ching. This PSR line in the sand is just, well, not even just a line in the sand. In general, this idea of having to sell a player earlier than you should be doing, or that he's going to be worth more. Because Jarrad Branthwaite has another season like this season, his price goes up even more because he's proved it 2 years in a row. And people will be looking for improvements, and if he does improve, oh, he has learned. Oh, he's not just a flashing pan. Oh, he's not just Titus Bramble. You know,
how dare you?
No, I know. Well, he had one good season. Everyone raved about him, and he got a move, didn't he? So, no, but that's the point, though, isn't it? And now you've got these stupid lines in the sand that say, "Oh no, you know, if the PSR wasn't conducted rolling year by year and actually was done every 3 years, then you'd be all right. You'd go, we don't need to sell him. If it was, but because it's a rolling thing, it makes it impossible to get you out of this hole. And I know they're changing it, but who knows what the real change is? And it's so stupid that you're put in this position when really you say, you could go, hang on, Mr. Accountant, if we keep hold of this player and he's worth double what he is in 2 years' time, surely doesn't that make more sense for the running of this football club? And this is where football is just so stupid at the moment. That we might be if Everton can't see another way out, they might be forced into selling Gerard Brantwaite.
I think we've just got to somehow just keep him for the next season, because you know, you keep him for this next season. Him and Tarkowski are key at the back for us there. You know, Michael Keane, I think, should be moved on.
Yeah.
Mason Holgate, still our player, should be moved on.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I think Ben Godfrey's got me some love back for him in the last few months just by playing. I think he's
Maybe,
I think he's done really well.
Just
anywhere.
Yeah, he can play anywhere, can't he?
Should really be Everton's third.
Everything.
Well, yeah, basically. But the other two,
second everything.
I think the other two should be moved on. I think both for the good for them as well, for their own careers, and that isn't going to bring huge amounts of money in, but it gets a big chunk off a wage bill, but it does give you some money.
Get the kid out of Hull.
Yeah, go and get him in and do actual proper succession planning then, and go, right, the plan is integrate him at times this season, so he's ready next season if Brantwaite has another flyer and goes. And then, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again, work on Patterson properly this summer with the idea that he becomes your right back, because we don't know what's happening with Seamus, but it's...
Well, you'd like to think we'd hear something this week, wouldn't you? No, we did on Fan Aware.
What do you think?
I watched them on Friday and I saw a player that looked like he was second guessing everything, and I just think this week we might find out something.
Because it's the last.
Well, yeah, I'll find out one way or the other. Either he's getting a new contract or he's leaving. I looked at him and thought, you might be done here. And if he is, brilliant. He goes out with everyone's blessing. But I'd like to think, just for the fans, it'd be nice if we found out this week so that we can celebrate them.
Because we heard Jax recently saying he no one had, you know, remember the Burnley game on a Friday night? No one had even said anything to him. And then the manager went, you're going on for 2 minutes, and he was like, this might be me done.
And we know Tony Hibbert, Ozzy and Pina, all basically the same thing happened to them. So Ozzy got to come back because he had a testimonial, and obviously Hibbert had already had it, hasn't he? But no, we need to know this week. We need to know about changes this week.
Just trying to finish without us knowing. But certainly just when you're going through the squad like that, so that there's got to be, you know, seeing a comment someone there, like we talk about young players, but we know Dice doesn't like young players. Well, they're the future of the football club. So he's going to have to.
But we talked last week.
But then again, hang on, sorry. But he has played. He has played James Garner all season. He's 21. He's played Brantwaite. So, and listen, you will know that I will question Sean Dyche at times, because I think 4 months without winning a game still unacceptable. As good as he's been in the last couple of weeks, that period wasn't very good. But I think he'll have learned as well. But I think if you said to Sean Dyche, got this player in, he's quite good, I think he probably will play him. Do you know what I mean? So
depends what you call young as well. I mean, we talked about Jacob Greaves last week, and obviously he's a left-footed centre-back.
Is he?
Yeah, it's like from Hull City. They obviously didn't get in the playoffs, so this would be a great time to go and get him. And he could be one that you look at, and he's played loads of... As talk about consistent.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games
in the last 3-4 years. He's one that you could bring in next season, and could be that one that you go, right, well, you know, this might be a Brantwaite that season. Bring him in, get him used to everything, and then he takes a step up. 23, 24, that's not young. that's middle of your career nearly now.
Yeah.
So that's the right time and the right place for us as a football club. And maybe if you get 2 or 3 of them in.
Well, we were linked with Ndidi, weren't we? And he's gone off the boil, he has. But he was a very good player for Leicester for a period of time. You know, and it will, sadly, there'll be some piecing together of players, of course, there will, just the way it is. But it can be done, the recruitment can be done. And it can be done with limited funds still as well, because there is a lot of footballers in the world. T-Mac says Bazzi's proved he hasn't really given youth a chance. Well, listen, I'm not sitting here saying he gives all the kids a go, because I do think there is that. I do think he's overly cautious. I do think that as a manager, and Patterson to me is a proven thing of but then again, he will say he's here to get results. So, but there'll be a balance, and listen, what you might want to do versus what you have to do. Sometimes it's two different things. But we can talk about this all day long, can't we? But we keep going back to what we started it off with, which is the ownership thing. Is that without direction, and that direction might come from Farhad Moshiri. He might pull a plug with 777, whatever, and say, right, well, I'm looking for someone else now to take over. And while I'm doing that, I'll guide the football club for the next few months, whatever that is. And therefore, he then has to come up with ways, I don't know, to get some money for. And it might be a limited amount of money, and then that comes down to your recruitment team. That recruitment team have to prove their worth. In my opinion, they haven't done. So they've got to go and prove their worth. They've had some hits and some misses.
The problem at Everton is, I mean, this is the real problem. The enemy is within. That's the problem at Everton, isn't it? The problem is that the manager and Kevin Felwell can't come out and really. They can say little things, of course, but they can't really come out and go, well, I mean, your job would be a lot easier if it wasn't for this fella. But when that fella's your boss. And that's ultimately the biggest problem. The enemy is within at Everton. And other football clubs have obviously had this over the years, is that what can you do when it's the fella who's disappeared, the fella who is the owner has just disappeared, wants this one particular set of people to buy your football club, won't entertain anything else because this is the one that suits him most because he's done such a bad job and he's going to lose millions upon millions of pounds. That it does make it really hard, doesn't it? It's like, what if Kevin Felwell came out now and sat down, people wanted an interview with him, half the questions he wouldn't be able to ask because the answer would be, well, they're stopping me. And he'd be pointing at when the owners, whatever. And that's the problem, isn't it, ultimately? And we can talk about Sean Dyche, we can talk about Kevin Felwell a lot, but it gets to a point where you have to sort of stop and go, that fella over there who's made such a mess of this football club is hampering what's going on. So it's a horrible situation. And it is, we are stuck within limbo. We're absolutely stuck in limbo. And it's, as I said, it needs to get to a point, but yeah, it's, you just nailed it. You said it there. It's like you look at the season next season, you're saying, what got us through this season was the centre-backs and the goalie.
Of course it was, yeah.
You've got to keep them at all costs. Got to keep them at all costs because they're the backbone. The right back, left back as well, Michalenko, because he's been there most of the season. The right back has changed multiple times, but it's definitely 4 anyway. 4 or 5 have been the reason why Everton are in the Premier League next season. It literally took till Friday night for Jordan Pickford to lose any opportunity of winning Golden Gloves. And Golden Gloves really is a representation not of the goalkeeper but of the back line.
Of the defence, yeah.
It is of the defence. And you've got that close, and the fella who won it could be potentially getting a winner's medal to go with it, a Premier League medal, which shows you how brilliant that's done. And suddenly you're saying, well, you need to get rid of one of those components. And we know what his replacement is right now. It's Michael Keane, and you're just like, you'd rather have Michael Keane playing up front for you than playing in centre-back. I mean, how the commentary is brilliant, by the way, when he comes on at the Brentford game and he goes up front. Because the commentator mentions it and Jamie Carragher's just laughing, going, oh, yeah. And then he goes up front and goes, I think you're right. I think he's got up front. It's like, yeah, we all knew. We all knew, but there's like, it's just funny. It's just like, He's gone up front. What's going on here? Like, yeah, that
do anything.
No, I don't think he touched it. But it's like, that's Everton Football Club. Michael Keane going up front
That's where we are
rather than
now.
going to centre-back. In a game where you're winning 1-0 and you think, oh, it's the old way sub. And it's not. He's gone up front.
Because there was not, there was nothing he could have done that day, was that Timothy played, didn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously no Dom and no Beto. Yeah. So, yeah, Keane's the fourth choice striker.
Yeah. Before Danjuma. I don't know what it says about Danjuma, but crazy. What are you coughing for?
No, just coughing.
I thought you had input.
I know, yeah.
Thought you were about to say, actually,
you have a bad throat, yeah.
John Blaine did comment in the comments before about Forest.
Yeah.
He said it's not the Premier League's fault that Nottingham Forest overspent.
No, it's not. No. But going back to that, but I do think that's a really bad rule.
Yeah, but so you know that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, what Ped was saying, John, was that when these top six, big six, whatever you want to call them, clubs know that there's a deadline that you have to accept a bit by, then you've said to yourself many times, John, it's not healthy, is it?
No.
You go, I know you've got to sell that player by this. You know, if Everton wouldn't have had to sell Richarlison on that deadline day, the arbitrary deadline, the deadline for the 30th of June. Everton might have got £10 million more for Richarlison, which is big for us right now, and Forest did get more for Brennan Johnson because they held on. That's going into the Premier League's model of making your club more sustainable, and this is where those rules. I understand people want rules in place, and you'd understand why those rules have to be in place, but you can't have rules that only benefit teams who've got the money already. But that is mine.
But what's very confusing, me and John had a conversation about it last week on More Than a Game, when they were bringing in this, obviously the first stage of bringing in a wage cap or a salary cap, whichever way you call it, and UEFA's rules on that the calendar runs at a different time. The calendar runs January to January, and Premier League's run summer to summer. It's like, so even that doesn't make any sense. No. And it doesn't make any sense that it's summer to summer, by the way, because anything that cuts your transfer window in half is nuts. That's absolutely crazy. That's the first thing that needs to be changed.
So should everyone go in line then?
Yeah, well, it should be January to January, because that window in January should be the start, but you're not cutting into it. That's what I'm saying. If you're cutting right through your transfer window, that's absolutely crazy. How anyone agree to that's nuts, because you do take stock, and Everton traditionally have always bought late in the window because that's when we get the TV money. So the idea that you have to sell a player halfway through your transfer window when you've still got another 6 weeks of it left is absolutely nuts. And that's why Forest, I feel sorry for them in that case, saying, well, hang on, the transfer window's still open, but we took a calculated gamble to sell a player late in the window because we get more money from, because that's when more money is spent. You know, it's a seller's market late on in the window. It's a buyer's market early in the window.
Yeah, of course it is.
And that's the first thing that needs binning. You know, you've got a whole transfer window. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because even if it ended on the 1st of September, when the window's shut, at least you've given that football club enough time to get as much money in as it can to see whether it's healthy. But you're right, yeah, mate. You know, January to January, it encompasses the 2 transfer windows in the year.
Exactly.
In that one reporting year, and which is probably why UEFA do it. So,
just like little things like that. Isn't that just common sense?
But if you're trying to fall in line with something, then fall in line with it properly.
But it's common sense, isn't it? It's common sense.
Well, I no bleeding clue of it.
Yeah. But we all know. Ned would understand this. It's common sense. As you sit there with his white shorts, white socks really pulled
mid-calf. I don't know.
Are they grip socks? Why are you wearing
Are you
grip
playing
socks?
football?
You're playing football right now?
Because I fall over in the studio.
That's a good enough answer.
You might fall over and lose some audio.
You look like you're wearing the Germany kit. Yeah, I can't see it.
The Milan kit. It's the Milan kit.
I can just see Adidas at the top, the black shorts and the white socks.
It's the Milan kit from when
Classic. They don't play Germany and Adidas anymore, which is the
They are until
years.
They are till 2027.
Until they're not.
Well, they are. Yeah. Well, again, they are. You're absolutely right, Ned. They are till and not. Absolutely.
So 100%.
You're absolutely. I mean, you could say that about literally anything, couldn't you? anything.
I'm alive
Till you're not. Absolutely. Like, you know, that audio was fine till it wasn't.
Till it wasn't, yeah.
It never was fine.
Well, if it never was fine, you've just thrown yourself under the bus.
Oh,
John is listening.
John's watching.
know that.
No, that's a mess. That's something that needs to be sorted out straight away because that's just so stupid. The idea that Everton could be forced into selling a player. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everton could be forced to sell him not because of PSR. Let's get it right. It's keeping the bleeding lights on.
Yeah, but that's one of, it's kind of one and the same in a way, isn't it? But I think you're right. I mean, being forced to sell a player when it's what's really mad is you like trying to sell a car and you're about to go into a period where loads of people are getting, I've got money, but someone's going, no, mate, you've got to sell it 2 weeks before. There'll be 10 buyers there, but you've got to sell it in these next 2. No, it's how would you not be given the maximum amount of time to get? If I'm trying to protect your finances, I'm trying to give you as much time to make your finances healthy, which is essentially what PSR.
It's like trying to sell a car, you know, and then you've got that line. I don't know, maybe your MOT, and you let it run over, and then
I was away, and I was ill before I went, wasn't I? All right, nasty. No, but the thing about it, you're correct. The thing about it is. It is that they're there allegedly to protect the football clubs.
They're not.
But they're not, are they? Because they're also saying what we're really doing is we're protecting the big six who are the key players. And we're giving them another advantage by making sure if you've got anyone who's any good, you've got a certain deadline you have to sell it by to benefit these teams who've already got more than you.
Doesn't make any sense.
So you start going...
Doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't make any sense.
This is a bit mad, isn't it? But... It's one of them.
Let's have a look at some comments. Steve P says, why are people so obsessed with signing players from relegated teams? It's bizarre to me. And then I'm being told that we can't sign anyone else because we've got no money, which makes no sense considering the fact that those players will cost more than ones you could get in Europe and on much higher wages. We need to stop with it now because we're going to end up with a team full of them. If we carry on, obviously there's good players who go down, as proven by Garner and Pickford, but we can't just be our main recruitment strategy. If there's a case that we what are we paying the scouts for? There's a whole world of players out there, and we offer more value. When I'm seeing players actually wanting Sheffield United players, Jesus Christ, standards need to be raised ASAP. Who are the Sheffield United players that we would be linked? Oh,
be Harmer.
No. Someone said last week.
Tom Davis.
No. No, someone did say Cameron Archer, didn't he?
Sure.
Someone said Cameron Archer. I'm not going to dig it out, but Brereton Diaz.
He's going back to Villarreal. He's only on loan. Yeah. Sheffield United. He's going back to Villarreal.
No.
Where he didn't score a single goal, by the way.
Mad.
No.
Mad.
No. Listen, there'll always be players in relegated teams who were good, you know. And that Gustavo Hammer's been quite good for Sheffield United, to be fair. He come from Coventry. There'll be players in Luton. If Luton, I mean, I've said it. I said it last summer and people weren't happy. But I saw Ross last summer when he was free.
Did you see what he did on Friday? He came over to our fans with our team.
Did he?
And clapped the fans.
Did he?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Listen, Ross Barkley.
And some... Kane and his mates didn't clap him back.
No, well, I know. Some fans will be upset. I've got no issue with people not liking him. But I think if you step back a bit and go, if he was available, and there's mixed stories, isn't there? Stories saying he's free if they go down. I don't know.
No.
But if there was a deal and it benefited everyone, then why wouldn't you want him back in Everton's squad? Because he's still better than a lot of our players. He travels well with the ball. If you want him to be your number 6, you're in massive trouble. I would say that. The kid can't tackle to save his life. But he could play in Decore's role, in my opinion, quite comfortably. He can play as an 8. Just defensively, he's just not great. You accept that if you've got someone with him. But if you could get him, he is someone who I would look and go, you know what, he would help us. I like Ogbenny, who plays for Luton on the right. But would I pay 15, 20 million for him? No, because he's 27, 26.
Adebayo's obviously a very good player.
And yeah, Adebayo,
he's obviously a very good 100%. Player, and someone will take him. What you got to balance.
I've been injured for 3 months.
What you got to balance out is you got to scout him like you're scouting everybody else, haven't you? You got to scout him like you scout. You go, is there an opportunity there? Everton are gonna need players this summer, and if there are players who are available, you know. who are available to come out. We've been talking the last few weeks about Ashley Young, and I'd have no issue giving Ashley, like just saying to Ashley Young, is another year. I really wouldn't have any issue with it because to me, I just wouldn't, because I look at what our squad is like and I just see that as going, yeah, whatever, mate. Just as long as he's not on stupid money.
We're going to need
bodies.
Someone on the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't we, for 20 minutes?
Well, he came in at the derby at our time. We lose one of our most consistent players, and he came in and he played in slippers. He used all his experience. And don't get me wrong, against Forest, those 3 See, I walked out of Forest and I thought he'd had a decent game, and then the people were like, "Have you seen this and seen that?" And I was like, "Well, when I was watching the match, I didn't see any."
Well, what did you think of the 3 things in Forest? Because the only one I thought was a penalty was the handball. I
thought the last one was a handball, which is the one that the
last one was a penalty. No, you see, I didn't, because I thought he got there at the same time as the lad. I thought the handball was definitely a pen for me, and I said,
Well, yeah, but that's because you think handball should be that way.
Oh no, but his hand was out though.
No, I know, but I don't think it was hanging out for a bus. I thought his body spun, and as he spun, he's done that. But
the other 2, I thought.
The only one I thought so I didn't think it was a pen in the game, because the ref went like that. He's won the ball.
Yeah,
so I'm looking down this pitch and I'm thinking, well, he's won the ball. It's a great tackle. Therefore, justifies my eyes that he's actually had a decent game. I've come out and everyone's like, "What do you mean he's had a good game?" And I'm like, all right, calm down. Point being about him is, he's a 38-year-old, got loads of experience, who can come on at right back, left back, right midfield, left midfield. And if you're really, really understands totally professionalism, understands how to play the game, and is a massive shithouse, knows how to wind people up.
No.
After the Forest games, winding up all kinds of people. Point being is, that's a dead easy one. You don't just throw out the baby with the bathwater. You have to look at the whole thing and go, "Well, just give him another year."
As long, like you say, as long as he's not on huge wages, he isn't.
No.
As long as he's not on that, then he seems fit enough. The idea has to be with him, though, that he is basically a sub.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And he's a utility player, and then you would need that, and then so there is a balance in that.
But there's an idea. But this year he was supposed to be a sub. Michalenko gets injured, so he starts the season at left back. Then he stopped being left back, and then
but then he got played as first choice.
No, I know, but then that's on. But the fact that he's been played first choice shows that the manager thought he could do the job better, and that's where.
I get it, yeah.
And there has been, but that's where people have got to be a little bit careful for what they wish for, though, because if you're losing players and you've got no choice,
if we lose Seamus and Ashley Young out the squad, then okay, we lose 73 years of age.
Yeah.
I get it, but we also lose huge experience, just even in the dressing room and standards. Now, listen again. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. You know, I'd love Seamus to stay again, but do we really need two aging fullbacks as cover? I don't know. Maybe if the money, you know, shit. I don't know what. I imagine the way Seamus is that he will go. If he doesn't feel himself like he can do it, then I think he'll call it a day. I don't think he'll just sit there.
And he's got aspirations.
And I think he wants to coach.
He's got aspirations of coaching. He's been coaching since last summer with younger players.
And you seen him? Was it Luton when he was on the pitch? He was certainly on the pitch. Was it the derby, wasn't it? I'm trying to think back to he was on the pitch on the derby, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Celebrating with the gear on and all that. He's moving into that stuff, you know, and that way. But just like talking about like plays and stuff, Steve P's absolutely spot on. It is a big world out there.
Yeah.
So yes, you piece your squad together, and that's why I brought Ross Barkley up. If those rumours are true, that if they get relegated, he can leave on a free, and if you're Luton, you're probably happy for him to go. Then if they go back in the Championship,
there is always value.
He's the kind of player who you'd get.
There is always value. Don't forget. Phil Jagielka got relegated, didn't he? Sheffield United, and we picked up. No, but I'm saying we picked them up for £4 million. Yeah. There's always a bit of Tarkowski got relegated.
Superb.
There's always a bit of value in there. Always. You don't want a full team of them, and I think that's what Steve P's getting at. You don't want a full team of them, but there is always value, and what it is quick.
Yeah,
if a player's free,
if you grab a couple of those in and go, right, that helps us, and then you go and like me and Steve said a few times, there's younger players in Europe who you will get wages wise. It tracks the wage bill right down. They're quick, direct. There's loads of them. Score goals. they give Everton something they haven't quite got. And then you're hoping to develop and move them on. Not talking, Sean Dyche won't want a team of 20-year-olds who he's got to try to teach how to suck eggs, of course he won't. But if you've got them in and around it, I'll be honest, I thought Schmitty's done quite well near the end. I thought against Brentford, I've rewatched like most of that game. I thought he showed some lovely touches, nice little good awareness. I think
in that game, during the game, I wasn't totally enamoured with him. But he's not Jack spoke about last week. And it was like in a 2 dropping off. He looks. I don't understand on Friday night, and again, it doesn't really matter. But instead of making the 2 subs that he did in midfield, which basically just was like, come in, Luton. I'd have left Dom on and I'd played Schmitty off him because he looks like a player who can. He can link the play. He's got some lovely against
that layoff to the core.
But that's the kind of player he is. He's not someone who can play up front on his own. I'd have left Dom off. But I don't think he will ever be because he's a link player. I don't think. No, I think you're doing him a disservice playing him up on his own, because I think if he plays off someone, I think he can drop into that gap where Decore is. And actually on Saturday I'd have a little look at it and go, can we play Dom up front? Because Beto, when he came on, was all shit again. I mean, anyone who watched the thing on Ashley Young last night in the first shirt he ever played in, a bit like Beto's.
I still think that was a pen on him. I know some people disagreed, but the lads,
I'd like him.
The lads. No, he's got to be stronger. But the
I'd like him to just be stronger.
Someone mentioned before, Young. That was a penalty. The third one in the Forest game. Okay, well, so was Beto's on Friday.
I'd just like him to be stronger.
Exactly.
I'd like him to be stronger. I don't think he needs to throw himself on the floor. But I could see Schmitty playing off Dom easily as a nice little link-up player.
Dom played well, didn't he?
He likes to drop in that space. Dom, look at it. On Friday, Dom was getting the ball, winning it, going to knock it off, and there's no one there. Schmitty, because the core he was doing his old.
Right off, hasn't he? Although Decore, again's another one, sometimes he actually looks better deeper.
No, I said that. On Friday, I'd have dropped him into centre midfield with the Disagana Gay and played Schmitty in that role. Because when Onana and Gomez, it was just an invitation to them to just...
Lawrence, I think, who's a Luton fan, says like they got Ogbenny free from Rotherham and he's been excellent.
Is he the one that we were told about that Everton should sign?
No, it was Adebayo.
Was that? Oh, Adebayo.
Well, they got Adebayo for $250,000 from Walsall. Lawrence says.
Is that who? So Rooney said to buy Adebayo. Yeah, because he wanted him, didn't he?
He wanted him, but he said to us from Washington, he's the striker Everton should buy.
Yeah, he did.
He's a perfect foil for everybody else.
Yeah,
and then DC United tried to buy him, didn't he?
Yeah,
they wanted $10 million. I think they couldn't get him, and he's ended up staying and doing really well. But yeah, like Lawrence is saying there, you know. $250,000 from Rotherham, from Walsall, Ogbenny, free from Rotherham.
Hard to hear.
And what Lawrence says, he's like, you don't need players, you need your recruitment. You need our recruitment team. He's saying Luton's. But you're right, mate. It's that there are these players around us. What Everton have done wrong, in my opinion, I think Pep probably will agree as well, is that we just looked in all the wrong places and spent money that we didn't need to spend. It's not huge amounts when you look at other teams, but it is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money.
And with no value. It's like, oh, he's 20 million, we'll just buy him. And it's like, yeah, but you could have got 3 players in Europe for that who would have, one of them would have worked for sure, and the other 2 you might develop.
Yeah. Look at Andre
Semenyo, he plays for Bournemouth on the wing, I think. Now, okay, I think he might have cost 8 to 10 million from Bristol City, but he's been brilliant, pacey, powerful.
Look at like my missus came in yesterday and she went, there's a list going round, isn't there? I think it came off Toffee web of the players' salaries, and Andre Gomez is top of it. And she went, is he really on that much money? And I went, he probably is on that much money.
He's not on more than Pickford, but there is.
But that's because Pickford signed a new contract.
Yeah.
But I went, he probably is on that because he signed a 5-year deal and we wanted him more than anything. And look what's happened in the last 5 years. He's done nothing, like absolutely nothing. No. I said, that shows you sometimes when you do the old reverse money ball. You buy the fancy looking fella that everyone's raving about. You know, you watch that film and they say it all in that film, don't they? And you don't need that sometimes. You need the player who's got the numbers, and he is almost like the last one, isn't he? And he'll walk out the door for nothing. He'll walk out the door for nothing.
Steve Peace just said that most of them have gone for
they all have walked out the door. We've got nothing for any of them. No. You know, all Mina, Bernard,
We got money for Bernard.
Yeah, but it wasn't, you know what
nominal, but we did.
Smingerson, you know, they've all just left for nothing. They've all just walked out the door.
Tosin.
Yeah, Tosin. They've all walked out the door because we didn't have people doing a proper job of trying to get someone who might just earn you some money down the track.
Yeah, but when you're buying players, the idea should be most of them, 75% of them should be you're looking to make money on them.
Yeah, you can't
do for everyone. It's like Tarkovsky. Everton were never buying him to make money on him. Now, they could sell him this summer and make money on him.
But we got him for free, so it balances it out, don't it?
So you don't want him. But that's fine. So you look and go, well, we know we're not. He's in here to stabilise us and do a job like that. And you'll do that with a few of your players. But most of your players, you should be brave enough to go, we're buying this to make money on this kid. And if he pops and he makes the football team better, and we all, rise and seas, go for everyone and all that, then we become a better football team anyway. So we'll make more money and we can buy better players to help him. That's your aim, because your aim should be to finish first. That's difficult, but that's what your aim should be. But if you're not going to get there and his development goes sky high immediately and someone comes in and goes, I'll give you 40 million for him and you've paid 5, you take it and you reinvest it, you do it again.
Well, look at that. I mean, look at Adebayo, right? Just if we're talking, I don't know what his value is. I think he signed a contract last summer. He might just be a little bit too old, but if Everton could get him, I'm just being hypothetical, but if Everton could get him for 10 million quid, say, in a year, he could have a good season with Everton, and then suddenly next summer people are offering you 20 million for him you've done.
He's 26.
He is a little bit too old.
He was 26 in January.
Yeah, he is a little bit too old, but there will be other examples. The one we talked about before, Jacob Greaves, I think he's 24. Hull have literally just sacked their manager, by the way, which is mad. Don't know why they've done that.
Brilliantly.
I know.
I've seen you.
Yeah. But someone could get him for 8-9 million quid, let's just say, maybe. Could do a couple of years, and then someone could come knocking at the door and offer you 25-30 million quid for him. The same way that we used to do it under Moyes. That approach of go and get them, they look good. I believe in the coaching. I'll make them better, which is what Dyche will believe. Get them into the team, and then in a couple of years.
But look at that's how you build a team. Look at Brighton. Okay, I know. Listen, if we wouldn't have had our points deduction, we'd be above Brighton, wouldn't we, or level with them. So it is what it is. But what I mean is, they've done a lot of that, haven't they? Like. Yeah. They've got it sold and got it and sold. Yeah. And the thing is, Everton are a big enough football club that if they actually get themselves on a decent footing, the fans carry it going into a new stadium, you can pop again, and then all of a sudden you're back up battling where you feel like you should be, which is for a place in Europe, wherever that lies. You can only really do it when you have a proper recruitment plan and strategy in place. Yeah. And we haven't got, and you can't do it anyway. No. Even if Everton got taken over by bleeding Jeff Bezos today, it wouldn't matter because we wouldn't. I mean, it would, because we'd be able to structurally put stuff in place. But in terms of buying and spending, for a few years,
you can put a strategy in place, though, can't you?
No, that's
you know
what I mean. But you know what, Ped? You don't have to be Jeff Bezos to put a strategy.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The strategy should already be in place. It shouldn't be grabbing. This is the thing that we're still doing it. There should be a strategy in place, and it should. A few people are mentioning how much we've paid for Beto. It's like the strategy is 26. What we paid for him is we've paid well over the odds.
That's crazy.
We've paid well over the odds, haven't we? Because we're never going to see that money ever again. Never going to see it.
You might get half back if he develops well.
Where is Schmitty?
Well, Schmitty,
you might. Because, we've had the comparisons to Sims and obviously Tom Cannon and stuff like that. But you get, if the managers looked at him in the last couple of games and gone, you can do it. I mean, obviously you had to start him, but he left him on for the 90 minutes, and he had faith in him. And
he was a whisker away from putting McNeil's cross in, wasn't he?
I think, as I said, I would have brought him on the hour mark because we had to get, once James Garner and Idrissa Gana Gueye were both booked.
Yeah.
Our midfield was gone. It was gone. James Garner got booked in the 9th minute. He couldn't put. That's why the game was so open. And once Idrissa Gana Gueye got booked, he obviously had to make that decision. But I'd have brought him on and gone play behind Dom. do what you do. We'll be fine. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but they're the games, aren't they, where you want to develop it now. I know Sean Dyche might say, well, if we win if we win again, we jump a place, and that's £2 million quid, and I've got to. I get it, but you're right. They're the kind of, he should be just looking for that, going, you know what? If we lose the core again next season for any length of time, is there an opportunity this way? Could this person play in that role or whatever? Because he's free of that now, so it is a bit mad, isn't it? But.
Not so purple. He says, shout out to Marine for winning the playoff yesterday. Yeah, well done. They beat Macclesfield, didn't they? And Prescott Cables beat City of Liverpool today as well. They've got promotion. That's excellent for them. David says, agreed. We do need news on 777 issues, but I'm no doubt we will get anything. Also, whilst I am super grateful for Dyche for the last 2 seasons, 1.5, I can't let the sense of relief overside my belief that we need a change. I still would prefer Moyes, who is now available, of course. Conrad says, if John is on, maybe he can say I am right about these details. They keep saying the airline that has gone bust nearly is owned by them, but in fact it's only around 10% is owned by 777, but this needs sorting by June, or could affect transfer policy. Well, it needs sorting now. New contracts for players and manager. Personally, hope someone else comes in the club. We would have to replay the money 777 is given to the club, and top of the cost to buy the club, I believe. Keep up the great show, guys. It needs sorting now, because the work to buy players has been getting done for the last 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Now is the bit where you go into the room and try and get the deals done.
Especially now, because you know where you are. Your Premier League status and all that, it becomes an easy one.
Evan Viking says 777 absolutely need chasing. Anyone who did any basic investigation on them at the time knew they couldn't. What they were, how couldn't far ahead of the Premier League. They're not fifth and proper. They cannot let anyone near the club. Nor they have the money to buy us anyway. They've worked so slimy, and it's pretty evident. They've talked to an Everton content creators and tried to get them on side as well. Manipulation tactics, which is to be expected, but their chances would kill the club. Maya says, remember, guys, Farad Mashiri said these are the best people to sell to. Clown, you've ruined the club. Well, last week, and John confirmed this because he reached out to them, their PR department, the people they paid to their PR, they split with them.
Have they gone now, have they?
Because John reached out to them, and they said that they had. So, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Joe Max says, I see that Baz is back. Sheffield United are 6-1 to win on Saturday just through a 10 on them. Yeah, but John Blaine is in the Villa. So, it's not who's in the Villa. It's just that someone's in the Villa.
I would like to point out that Everton won 12 Premier League games this season. And for 3/4 of those Premier League games, I was in the UK. So, and we didn't beat Luton. So, you know, it's because Baz is there. Yeah. And like I said to a few people, if you're under 35, you're the issue, not me. I've seen us win the league and stuff. So, you are the jinx. But there you go.
Alex says, Jisagan and Gay's been arguably our best centre midfielder all season and surely can't be allowed to leave. Wages and age obviously an issue, but we look at much more balanced team within it and no real replacement when he's not. Well, I've said it every video, haven't I? Every single video.
All season. Argued with people all season. He said, can't see it. I just can't see it.
He is just easily our best midfielder. By a mile.
Even if you glued the other three who play there together.
Everton have to do everything in their powers to keep him.
Yeah.
Everything.
Even if it's for the year to develop other players who are going to think he has to stay, in my opinion.
Chris Whitburn says, look who's finally decided to turn up for work. Joking aside, I hope you had a good holiday, Baz. It was made sweeter knowing the Toffees were safe and smashed.
Yeah.
The RS.
Absolutely. Hopefully
the ownership situation gets themselves sorted. More hopeful bias seizes the opportunity.
Crimson Boss VNF says, Peds, can you help me? My son has the 95 home shirt and he's the name and number on the back.
Okay.
Didn't you say there's someone who does
Twitter, right? At R Wilkinson 007, like
007.
like 007. Find him, message him, and he'll tell you what to do. Sort all our shirts out, which will hopefully go be on the wall by tomorrow. Because you want to see the laser thing? There's lasers, Baz. We've got lasers in the studio. Lasers. Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy who does all my shirts. So I got the new 1987 third, and he's done a number 7, and it's got the umbro, and it looks boss. And if anyone was watching last week, we did a little show, didn't we? With me and Ned did a show with all the some of the shirts the other day, talking about them. Yeah, he does all of them. So he's the guy to see. And I had my Milan top on Friday night, and I told, yeah, it looked beautiful. It looked beautiful.
Graham, yeah, he's forgiven me. Of course he has. Been talking to Florida, mate. Of course he's forgiven me. But he was still a bit good.
I've heard that.
He'll see it next season.
I've heard by getting revenge, he wants to. He's going to take you to Box Park. That's one of the revenge things. You've missed all the Box Park, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Box Park, this new thing that's opened in Liverpool.
Is this what you put in our group?
Yeah. So
something
basically,
about the derby.
So they did up that. They had the. Oh, did the thing go? First week of opening, how lucky are we? So they only invited the Redmen down and got made it into a boss night, a boss night, and all the lights were red. And there's just videos of Evertonians on the back on the thing, just when Everton have won, just giving them. So they've got loads of. They've been getting loads of abuse, and Evertonians said they're going to boycott it, because basically they just set the stall out from day one as a gaff for Liverpool. But apparently,
as well.
Barry from EastEnders is going to be hosting a quiz there on the 14th of May. So more great stuff from Box Park. Aintree Racecourse are also on the list because they're having a send-off to Jurgen Klopp on the last day of the season. So they're also on the list. Everyone's making... Everyone's making hay while the sun shines.
Well, talking of hay...
On Jurgen.
Cameron Hay is in the comments. Hello, Cam. Says, honest thoughts, lads, if we had to push you for a yes or no, do you feel 777 will complete the takeover?
No, I don't. I just don't. I just don't think they will, mate. Where that leaves us, I have no idea, but I don't think they will.
I would have said before I went on holiday, yeah, because it's just gone on and on and on. And I thought it was, the longer it went on, Cam, I thought once it got to January and they hadn't kiboshed it and said it's done, I thought it was inevitable. Now, I honestly don't know. It seems unlikely, given what Ped's been updating me on the way in, telling me about more stories and that. It seems unlikely, but I don't know, mate.
Ultimately,
crazy.
And we've all known this from the start, they're spending other people's money. And those other people...
It's what a lot of these schemes...
No, I know. But those people don't want them to spend that money anymore. And are taking them to court.
That becomes a problem, doesn't it?
They are an investment company, but the latest thing they're getting taken to court for is basically saying that, well, and I'm not breaking it, that they're a Ponzi scheme. Now, that's not good. They're being accused of basically saying they're valuing things twice. So they've been saying, we've got this thing and it's worth this amount of money. So if you invest, blah, blah, and then they're using the same thing again and again. So it's like me walking around the studio, having a watch and selling it to every single person and then going, see ya, do you like me watch? £100. Sell it to everyone and then walk out and no one ever sees me again. That's what they're being accused of. Not saying they've done it, of course I'm not. That's what they're being accused of. So
it is absolutely mad. It's mad that it just goes on and it goes on and it goes on. It needs culling. And SB, no, I was gone for 2.5 weeks, mate. That's how long I was away for. And Steve P, yes, I'm on to showing at how you say his name because Zach signed him on his Football Manager game. So yeah. Right.
Patrick Ridge in the comments. So I'll jump on.
Paddy, it's like Paddy.
Says it. Welcome back, Baz. Reed Forrest and Johnson, it's worth noting that the original IC did say they'd receive grace if they'd had sold for less in July, as it would have shown an intent to try and comply with the rules, even if they were missing the deadline by a few weeks. It's because they took 2 months. Given that it's a major tournament and there's so many teams who could be in the dock next season, I think the Premier League ICs may give them leeway on that June the 30th deadline if clubs can prove there was always intent to sell. Oh, that's fair enough, Patrick, but I'd just get rid of that line and so we don't have to have grace. I think if we got rid of that line and made it January to January, it just makes more sense. So it starts, so you would get 2 full transfer windows out of it no matter what then, wouldn't you? And no one could use that excuse ever again because you would have the whole summer or you'd have the whole of January. It's a really, really stupid thing for me as far as I'm concerned. So it doesn't make any sense.
Ian Murphy says, so our fans don't want 777. Who do we want? Because we're not on the radar of Qatar, Saudi Arabia or anyone of that ilk.
Why aren't we though?
We don't seem to be, do we?
But the lights are out there at the moment trying to sell. But it's not a case of...
So are they trying to sell us still? I got that.
That was one of the things. The Lloyds are apparently trying to flog us to... They've been sent out to try and sell sellers.
Where's Kale?
I was going to say, everyone should be messaging Kale.
Where are you, Kale?
Everyone should be messaging Tim Kale. Because honestly...
Come on, Timmy, lad.
He's in the place. He's in the place where some fellas changed in the back of his Lamborghini could save us. Could save us. So
not being funny, just go and flash one of.
Where are any of our ex-players back? But where are any of our? But where are any of our ex-players like speaking out about it? They all just go quiet, don't they? But when it's said, Carragher said this the other day, and I agree massively with him. All the people who spoke out about PSR and Premier League being corrupt, where are they now? Speaking out about our owners, they've all gone quiet because they all get gigs doing the tours at Everton. It's time these people stood up and spoke out for us as fans.
Get those gigs, won't you?
Of course you will. There's no one left anyway. The new people, whoever comes in. Right, we're going to go. Yeah. We're going to do more than a game. So make sure you follow the link.
Do we? Follow the link. We're just getting a drink.
See you in a bit.